Welcome back, guys. So recently I took a look at the brand new 8bitdo arcade stick, and I thought it was a fantastic product, way better than their previous arcade stick that they put out. It's got tons of different options, wireless through 2.4 gigahertz or Bluetooth, and you can use it wired if you so choose. It's a really nice stick, but a lot of people were asking me, which would you choose, that, the brand new 8bitdo, or the Mayflash F500? Now, I don't currently have the standard F500. I have the F500 Elite, and essentially they're the same stick. It's just the Elite version has Sanwa parts stock, whereas the non-Elite version has generic parts. So I'm going to compare between the Elite and the 8bitdo in this video today. We're going to open them up, talk about how easy it is to mod either one, give you guys my overall thoughts. Which would I pick over the other? So the biggest pro on the 8bitdo stick, in my opinion, is the wireless options that it has. It has Bluetooth, 2.4 gigahertz with that adapter that they include, or you could use it wired. So definitely some nice connection options there. With the Mayflash option, it's just wired. There is no Bluetooth or 2.4 gigahertz option there. So that might be the end of it for, depending on what you're looking for here. If you just want a wired stick or a wireless stick, that might have ended it, but it goes even further than that. What about the compatibility? Now, with the 8bitdo stick, that's one of its biggest cons, is the compatibility. It's good on the Nintendo Switch, Windows, Android devices, Raspberry Pi, Mr. FPGA, and that's pretty much where it ends when you take a look at other devices out there. Consoles, for example, the Xbox or PlayStation. This 8bitdo stick is not working on those. So that's a con there compared to the Mayflash F500 or F500 Elite, as those sticks can be used on the Nintendo Switch, the PS3, the PlayStation 4, on the PlayStation 5 for PS4 games, the Xbox 360, the Xbox One, the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S. The list goes on and on. It can even be used on the PlayStation Classic or the Sega Genesis Classic, the mini editions. Now, that's where the compatibility differs. Yes, the 8bitdo stick, you can use it on the PlayStation Classic, but I haven't found any other mini consoles it works on. The Mayflash also works on, it comes with an adapter to work on the Neo Geo Mini. Almost forgot to mention that. So that's one thing. The compatibility here, holy crap, the Mayflash has it down. You could essentially use this thing on almost any device you want. Now, there is one caveat to that, though. With the Mayflash stick having that PlayStation and Xbox compatibility, it comes with, you're going to have to use a controller plugged into it in order for it to work that way on the PS4, Xbox One, or Xbox Series X, or PS5 running PS4 games. Now, there's a workaround to that where you could buy these little magic flash adapters that plug into the back. That way you don't have to sync up a controller to it. So I think essentially the way that works is the board in the controller wasn't designed necessarily to work with those consoles, but to be able to have that compatibility, it needs to piggyback off of an actual controller. So they made those little dongles that can be used instead of having that controller tied to it. That's a pro and a con in and of itself, the compatibility there. You just have to know what you're getting yourself into when you're looking at one of these Mayflash sticks. Compatibility is great. The options, I mean, as far as changing up how the stick functions, pretty similar to both devices here, the 8bitdo or Mayflash. The Mayflash does have quite a few more options and different buttons. It has a mic input. It has, I've never seen it, but I guess they sell like a rumble wrist strap. I don't know. You want your wrist rumbling while playing games that have, rumble feedback, I guess. I've never seen it, but there is a port on this controller that allows for that. Like, okay, but it's pretty cool. You have that headphone jack. You can mute the headphone. Pretty nice stuff there. So that's where the compatibility, the differences between the two come into play as far as what systems and what features they have as far as connectivity. Now, the Mayflash F500, it is a bigger stick than the 8bitdo. It weighs more. It's wider. It's longer. It's deeper. You know, it's a little bit bigger. So that's one thing that I think people will really appreciate with that stick. I know some people had mentioned with the 8bitdo, it's like it doesn't really have much palm resting space, you know, space for your palm to be. And that is definitely true, but not necessarily something that will bother everyone. For me, it doesn't bother me too much, but it does feel, you know, a bit better having a little extra space in the front of the buttons and stick to rest your palms. Know what I'm saying? Now, as far as getting into these things and changing out buttons or components, if you choose, the 8bitdo, you know, both of these sticks, they really hype them up as, hey, these can be easily moddable, they're highly customizable, and almost any arcade stick is. So, I mean, it's just kind of a marketing gimmick, I guess. But with the 8bitdo, they really pushed that. And the biggest thing with that was the universal mounting plate, which gives you tons of different options for different sticks. Now, once you get into this thing, before you get into the 8bitdo, actually, you realize they use Torx screws instead of like Phillips heads. So it's a little bit more of a pain in the butt to open this thing up if you don't have the equipment right. The Mayflash just has standard Phillips head screws, so keep that in mind. But once you have both of these open, I mean, it's going to be the same damn thing. Swapping buttons or sticks. You're going to have more options as far as easily getting a stick into the 8bitdo, but with that, you're also going to be like rewiring a stick. You're going to be desoldering, you know, the connections, soldering stuff, or getting quick connects. It's not as easily customizable and moddable as they say. With the Mayflash, the F500 Elite, like I said, the one I have here, it has all Sanwa components. I have no desire of swapping those things out. But if I wanted to, I could easily. You know, the Sanwa has the 5-pin harness, so if I have another stick that could utilize that, yeah, sure, plug and play, or I may need to be, you know, rewiring some things. So essentially, I mean, it's even between the two in my eyes as far as swapping components. Like, it's just the same amount of work, essentially, for the most part. Just some things will be easier to throw in than others, so that's the kind of thing you have to keep in mind. But popping up buttons and changing out the quick disconnects, not really much of an issue here between either of them. It does seem like the 8bitdo has a little bit more room to play with for sticks as far as, you know, the width goes closer to the buttons, whereas the Mayflash is a little tighter spot, and it does seem to be a little more limited on your options there. But there you go. I just wanted to show what both of these look like inside, show what the features are, talk about what the features are between them. And for me, ultimately, if I had to pick one, I would go with the Mayflash. Now, I know I've seen people out there say that the Mayflash, the latency with the PCB that they use isn't the greatest, but I've never really had too much of an issue. The 8bitdo, I've been seeing a lot of reports that the latency through 2.4 gigahertz is actually quite decent and better than going wired, which is just unheard of, but that's what the information out there is saying. In my eyes, I don't think you could really go wrong with either one, but I just wanted to do this video to give you a better idea of what you're getting yourself into. For me, ultimately, I would pick the Mayflash because of the compatibility with tons of different devices and consoles. That's why I originally wanted it, and I use it quite often. It's a great stick out of the box. The Elite version, anyway, with the Sanwa parts, the non-Elite version, you know, you may want to swap those components out, you know, if you get one. The big difference between those two, not just the buttons, is the color scheme. The non-Elite version of the F500 is black, where this one has that, you know, grayish, tannish color going on. So it may be, you know, up to preference. You may want to grab the non-Elite version and upgrade it. But the other cool thing, as you've seen through this whole video, is I had that Samurai Showdown artwork underneath the top plate on the F500 Elite. So you're given those options. Like, you can go to certain websites, order custom artwork, and get that printed and put it in there. It looks pretty awesome in my opinion. So definitely very customizable as far as the looks go. So it's got that over the 8bitdo anyway. But hey, if you're looking for a good wireless stick, the 8bitdo is great. If you want compatibility across a lot of different consoles and you're okay with just going wired, which a lot of people are, especially with fighting games, then go for the Mayflash. So I hope this video helped. Really do appreciate you guys. And with that said, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out, bye-bye, and boom. Bye.